Landmark case for Hong Kong. The first person charged under Hong Kong's national security law has been found guilty of terrorism and inciting secession. 24-year-old Tong Ying-kit has been found guilty in a landmark case with long-term implications for how the legislation reshapes the city's common law traditions. He becomes the first person charged under the controversial national security law. The sentencing will happen at a later date. An alternative charge of dangerous driving causing grievous bodily harm was not considered. Tong has been found guilty of terrorism and inciting secession after he had driven his motorcycle into 3 riot police officers while carrying a flag with the protest slogan, "Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times." The incident took place on July 1st, 2020, shortly after the law was enacted. According to reports, Tong could potentially receive a prison term of several years to life. The case is being seen by pro-democracy activists and human rights groups as a departure from Hong Kong's common law traditions. Tong was earlier denied bail and a jury trial. The governments in Beijing and Hong Kong have said repeatedly the security law imposed in June 2020 was necessary to bring stability after the often violent 2019 protests. They claim the law punishes what China sees as subversion, secession, terrorism and collusion with foreign forces. Our correspondent Richard Kimber sent us a report from Hong Kong.
The verdict of guilty is no real surprise. Everybody's been expecting that would be inevitable following the way that the national security law has been implemented and the rules set out about how this case would be tried in the courts, with hand-picked members of the judiciary overseeing this case and no jury being allowed to deliberate in the case. This, though, is still a disappointment for many pro-democracy activists who see this first case as an example of what they think of as being an erosion of the freedom of expression and the freedom of speech in Hong Kong. The young man, 24-year-old Tong Ying-kit, has been charged and now found guilty of inciting secession and terrorism for driving his motorbike into a crowd of police officers on July 1st last year, just hours after this national security law came into being, while carrying a flag on which the slogan "Liberate Hong Kong, Revolution of Our Times" was written. The main crux of the debate during this case has been whether the meaning of that slogan was enough to warrant him being charged with inciting secessionist or anti-government behaviour on the part of other people. The judges in this case say that undeniably it has been deemed to be that, and for that reason the pro-democracy movement here is again worried that this could spell the end of any form of anti-government protest or slogan or statement in the coming months and years.